that.
I know cats don't do that. That movie got that completely, totally, 100% wrong. Also, I'm the one guilty this time. Hello, everybody, and welcome to the Digmcast. Sorry we've missed a couple weeks. We've had people sick, family stuff. You know, we can't make it every other week. Sorry, we have lives. Anyways, I'm Digmbot. That's ywlranger.
I'm Mike.
And that's MikeMatrix. And in the middle, we have our friendly giraffe. He's just having dinner.
George. It's George.
George the giraffe? Excellent.
George the giraffe.
So,
Fantastic.
we have some interesting topics that we have picked out for you guys over the several weeks that we have not been here. So, and I'm screwing up already. There we go. Get it back under control, Dime. Let's go ahead and get started. First up tonight was a study that Digmbot ran across. We've all heard every time something happens, video games get blamed a lot for everything. So if somebody shoots up a school, it's the video game's fault. In fact, we covered one not too long ago that we were all pretty irritated about, the kid that took the hammer and unloaded gun and knife to school and said that, or his dad said that he was emulating Minecraft. So,
which make no sense at all.
Didn't make a lot of sense to me either. So, that being said, I'm going to go ahead and throw this one up real quick. This is... boop. Not scaling right for one thing. There we go.
No, not really.
Yeah.
It seems to like me, though. Oh, there we go.
There we go. This is a study that was done over a decade in the UK of 11,000 children, and it has found no association between playing video games from as young as the age of 5 and mood or behavioral problems in later life. Now, I was quite happy to read this, although I want to point out a few things you have to read between the lines here. All they're saying is there's not a direct link they can find between playing video games and mood or behavioral problems. This means that you can stack any other manner and types of shit on top of it and still have problems. So, playing video games and having abusive parents, probably going to cause mood or behavioral problems. Playing video games and being extremely traumatized by something you saw in the streets, probably going to cause behavioral problems. All this is saying is what we've always said, is that by themselves, there's not a conclusive link that video games are causing these things.
Well, if anything, video games have stopped me from hurting people in real life. So, like, if you ever have, like, a really bad day and you just go home and shoot up as much digital pixelated crap as you can find, right? And you feel better? Yeah.
Hell yeah.
Yeah, if anything, video games just make me feel like not killing real people, which is good. It's a good thing. It's a good thing.
And honestly, most of the times they are actually more like they're providing either cooperative or like morality things that are incorporated within them. I mean, there's GTA, but even then, it's like, well, you're gonna get cops if you drive over a lot of people.
If you drive over enough people, there will be cops involved. Yeah,
there will be cops. Yeah, I mean, GTA is a bad example, but
GTA is an awful example.
GTA is an awful example. You could have picked
any other game.
Yeah, well, it's the reason it comes to his mind is because GTA is what's so often brought up by the opponents of video games. It is their poster child, the thing that they demonize the most.
But even in something like that is clearly designed as the anti-moralic standpoint of video games.
Well, ignore the design. The game is rated M. Your 7-year-old should not be playing
Exactly.
And
not only that, like,
I've said before, when I worked at GameStop, I fought against it all the time. I would point out to the mother of the 10-year-old, ma'am, look at all the stuff in the back of this case. Drugs, swearing, prostitution, nudity. Do you really think your kid should have this? Oh, he'll be fine.
Yeah. Well done.
I think this is more of a parental issue most of the times.
Most of the time it is a parental issue, and it sucks because everybody's way too busy for everything now, but there's one thing that you should not be too busy for, and that is your kids.
Children, yes.
Definitely.
I do also appreciate that, at least in the case of the article where I found this, they did go ahead and take the time to link back to other stories and other articles even outside themselves where studies have shown that games have done things completely opposite of behavioral problems, helping dyslexic kids read better, spatial orientation and memory formation skills, problem solving. Mike said it, cooperative behavior. Yeah,
that was actually my mom way back in the day when I was in high school and I just started gaming. It was a long time ago, and there were dinosaurs outside. It's fine.
But Jesus, what was it like when I was in high school?
Amoeba. But She said the reasoning for allowing me and my brother to play as many video games is because I was playing games like Final Fantasy 7 and 8 where you and 9 and 10 and all these games where you had to figure out and learn complex like leveling systems and junctioning and magic systems that you had to like hook into all different kind of stuff, and it was like a brain building kind of thing. This was not, oh, I feel like shooting up as much stuff as I possibly could.
No,
which I do now, but then
honestly,
it was
even like
yeah.
I'm sorry if I interrupt you. Even like straight off shooters like I don't know, Call of Duty and stuff usually require some sort of thinking involved. It's not just okay, I'm gonna sit down and dumbly walk through the environment and shoot things up. You sort of have to figure out where you need to be positioned, where you need to capture flags, be aware of your situation and stuff like that.
Yeah, and
that is probably one of the more casual shoot 'em ups in that way.
It is. Even even the developers of the game have said that their core audience they don't consider to be true gamers. So
yeah,
tells you something right there. But I mean, you're right. Even the basic Call of Duty game does force you to solve some problems and think, even if just a tiny bit sometimes. And I need to put this slinky down.
It's creating some background noise that was a little annoying for me, but that's okay. Well, like for Call of Duty, it's more like, granted, you learn like battle strategy, but you get really good motion. Motion recognition in your eyes.
Motion recognition.
Yeah. And something like that is actually useful for me in my job because there's no easier way to see a sick fish than to see him flop over one time. And if I can catch the one time he flops over and then watch him for something else, I could save a fish's life.
Fuck yeah!
Yeah! Play Call of Duty, save fish lives.
That is the headline we should do. Just gonna say.
Ranger, you totally should have gotten hold of them before they released Ghost, because one of the big things about Ghost was them showing off those underwater levels.
Yep, save fish lives. Yep. I'm just saying.
Oh god, even Assassin's Creed 4, man, Black Flag, they've got the whole hunting the shark with the harpoon minigame. Kill the shark, save fish's lives.
Yeah, save fish lives.
Just saying.
But I mean...
Save the fish. Fuck the whales. Save the fish.
If you...
Sorry.
The Digmcast in no way, shape, or form endorses nor supports the views of co-host Ranger.
The personal opinions of the people involved. Yeah, okay, cool. Thanks.
No, but Call of Duty is, as you said, the core audience of Call of Duty is not really the gamer type, to be quite specific. Like, it's more a super casual gamer.
Yeah.
And if we talk about, like, okay, Battlefield 4 goes more into the gamer type, Assassin's Creed, I mean, all of those things involve a lot of thinking a lot of time, or at least figuring out how to solve things. And problem solving is probably one of the best skills.
Battlefield 4 and COD are actually really good examples because they're basically diametrically opposed and in the same space. COD is a twitch shooter. Battlefield 4, in its PC incarnation at least, with 64 players and the larger map, requires full-on tactics, strategy, and cooperation to accomplish anything.
If you want to talk shit about tactical positioning, we're gonna talk armor.
Yes.
Yeah, and let's not before we go too far.
No, we're not gonna go there. But
you and I to even get anybody to remotely understand what we're talking about the wrecking crews, a 20-minute explanation in and of itself.
Yeah. It's amazing. Just saying, like
Battlefield. This way, if you think about how big sound files normally are, to get this mod to work right, we had to download a mod pack that was almost 2 gigabytes of sound files.
Yeah. That's impressive. Well, you see, there's the footsteps that are close to you, and then the footsteps that are medium away, and then the footsteps that are all the way far away.
So
that's like 3 separate files right
there.
Like,
in the woods with the wind going this direction and this amount of radio chatter.
And the moon rose, rose at this apex,
and it was the age of Aquarius.
That part, it changes, it dried the leaves differently, so when he crunches on them, when he's walking, it's just slightly different than the normal time, so we have to put in another sound file.
You laugh, but that's just about what the sound mod is.
Yeah, this is pretty much it. Like, it has, I think, for each weapon itself, which there are many. There's like 50 million sounds. I don't know.
But
There's like
not to
There's
lose,
super
pretty loud
close.
sound and the sound with jabs and the sound.
not to
When
lose
The
the
sound,
thread of my
start-
there's
point.
like a sound when you're holding it. There's one for close range. There's like one when you're in character and actually hear the clicking of the mechanics of the weapon and stuff like that. There's like medium range, long range, and then far away range, and then like bullets whizzing
I
over
hate
your
that
head.
far away range. When you're like moving around in a game like Battlefield 4 and you hear the pew, and you're like, oh shit, and, like get out of there because there's a sniper somewhere.
Yeah, see, the
We
worst
have
part
to go
about
find
Arma, and I'll go back to Mike's original point, that the worst part about Arma sometimes is the game is so realistic, sometimes you don't hear the crack of that sniper rifle until the bullet's already gone through your head.
And you're like, oh, I got shot. That's too bad.
But
Yeah, that
Arma's
can actually happen.
Arma's an interesting thing for that space too, because the logistics of getting entire squads in order and airlifting them takes a lot of problem-solving skills. So, but the thing that I was really, really happy about with that study is it's the first time I've ever seen a multi-year, a decade study that follows
that's a long time.
sizable sample size of a population. I mean, it really, it's not one of those things you can just kind of shrug off like some in the past, a couple of year survey or study that didn't follow that many kids or whatever. No, this is an actual pretty big one. So
that's actually what I like about it as well. It's something that actually shows a result that is representable, because it's over such a large audience. And back in the days when there was like all those things going on all the time, I mean, it's still going on.
Yeah.
The debate about games being involved in that shit.
It's not ever
We
going
didn't
to go
have
away.
those stuff.
It's not ever going to go away, really, because things are just going to get better. They're going to get realer, and they're going to feel realer, and then people are going to think that it's affecting people more and more and more and more. So it's not like the conversation's not going to go away.
I was actually going to say, Ranger, it needs to be done again because the study's just now coming out, and it's a decade-long study. How different was the gaming landscape a decade ago than it is now, and will be in a decade from now?
Well, a lot.
Exactly. So
I mean, it's
our gaming experiences are changing. They're becoming more realistic, different, more intense, more involved. That kind of study needs to keep going and going and going and going because gaming's just going to keep evolving. So
I agree. This is not something that we can do once and just put away. This is something we need to do continuously make studies about how it affects people, how people are involved in games or something along those lines. This needs to be done repeatedly.
And I wonder if there'll come a day when we'll see game development studios or at least major publishers that actually employ people full time to monitor these kind of things and help with these kind of studies.
I would say not until it becomes an actual problem. If they're losing money, by they I mean the companies developing these things. If they start losing money on like AAA or AA title or whatever the fucking A titles, then they might consider doing something like that. But if they're still going to be making money, because there's going to be full-grown adults like us always going and getting the game on the day one. So I really don't think, and people like us aren't likely to be swayed to think that buying a video game is a bad thing.
Nope.
So I really don't think that they will have cause to defend themselves, if that makes any sense.
Not unless the attacks on them get a lot worse.
Yeah.
I think there might be another reason to employ them, and that is to improve. I mean, they are already like having huge test cases on their games already to improve how the game feels to the customer itself.
It's not unheard of to have an outside specialist that doesn't have anything to do with gaming employed either.
Exactly.
What's the company that makes Eve, Mike? I can't think of their name right now.
Anyways, I actually don't know.
They full-time employ a guy who's basically an absolute genius economist, and all he does is study Eve's online economy.
Really?
Yeah, the Eve online economy is so complex and nuanced that he could substitute studying a real country's economy by studying Eve's economy. So
that's interesting.
That's kind of interesting as well. Like as more complicated, the games, because if you want to go do a better economy system or a better leveling system or whatever, if you're gonna do that, you need to simplify it on the front, but also have very complicated mechanisms in the back. So studying people, how they interact with things is good, but how they feel about things and how actually things work is also a different story. So
Yeah.
employing researchers to actually just study those things is probably something that we're gonna see more and more over the next years to
Be
come.
interesting.
And I mean years.
Yeah.
Yeah, well, let us hope so.
Be interesting. Speaking of things that look simple on the front but are complex in the back, segue.
Yeah.
Next gen consoles.
Actually, I had a better way to make this segue before when you guys were talking about Battlefield, but that's fine.
I was wondering why you had that look on your face. So, here's just a little kind of brief behind-the-scenes look at how the Digmcast actually works and evolves, because when we originally were going to do our show 2 weeks ago, the one that was canceled because we were all sick or busy, it was going to be right before the launch of the PlayStation 4, and we had put out a bunch of articles that we were interested in talking about, particularly the day one launch updates. Then we didn't do the show, so we started updating the list again and kind of gearing more towards the reception. And then, now that both consoles are out and both are having problems, the final evolution is the topic you guys are about to get, which is the launch issues. Both consoles have got some. It seems like Microsoft may be getting the brunt of it right now compared to their Sony brethren.
That's probably because the Xbox is just getting more attention in general because they've already kind of stunk the bed up with everything that already happened.
Shot themselves in the foot multiple times. So
a little bit.
Let me go over the issues real quick and see what you guys think. So Sony says it's approximately 0.4% of consoles. I'm not really sure where they're getting that number from. But the issues involve things as totally non-functional PS4s, refusal to output video through the HDMI ports, and that basically is about the gist of it. And Sony's fixing the consoles pretty quickly from what I hear. They'll send you an overnight box, basically a coffin for your PS4 to you, and you send it back. There have also been a few issues with said Day 1 update, which I should note was required to let the console do things like, read a disc using its Blu-ray player. So,
yeah, and I did put a comment on there about the first day updates. First day updates is not new.
It's not.
A lot of consoles do need first day updates. It's a little bit extreme to need a first day update to function as a console.
Yeah, that was my point behind the article. I have a Wii U. I got it on day one. Yeah, I had to do an update, but that was to access secondary and tertiary features of the console. It would play a game without being connected to the internet. The PS4 and Xbox One, This is the first time that's ever happened.
Yeah, well, I mean, the companies have said that you need to be connected to the internet to play most of the games that you're going to play. So that was just, that's just part of it. And that was something that a lot of people were actually really upset about. And this is where you're seeing it translate out, is that you can't play a game without updating. Everybody got the console on the same day, and everybody's going to be trying to download it from the same stupid little ratty old server, and it's going to take everybody forever to get anything to happen. And it's pretty frustrating.
Sony got smart.
Which is why I was waiting a couple months to buy these consoles anyway.
So I ran across this, and I didn't realize this. Sony was smart. Sony actually was letting people that had pre-ordered the PS4, they would let you go on a website and pre-download a locked version of the Day 1 update to a flash drive that you could simply plug into your PS4 on launch day. That is
clever.
They were actively trying to stop server overload, and from all accounts, they didn't have a lot of server overload. I want to run through the Xbox. I want to run through the Xbox issues real quick, and then play that video, and then we'll discuss them. So the Xbox One issues were myriad. Dead consoles basically out of the gate. Although, and I'll show the picture if I can later, but I don't think we're going to see a lot of overheat red rings because if you look at this picture of the Xbox One I have up, I've seen a teardown of it. Basically, that whole front right quarter of the system right there behind the Xbox logo is one giant cooling fan. The thing is massive. The other problems that they've had is headsets only outputting static, an endless cycle of crashing and rebooting, and the one that just really baffles my mind the E100 notification, which is a total hardware failure caused by an update error. Your software update is bricking your hardware out of the box. That's not good. And then the other one, and this is what I'm going to play, is disk drive's broken and it not reading the disks. And in addition to that, and everybody just shh for a second, it makes this noise. That's not good.
It's painful. It's painful to hear. Honestly, being somebody who's played consoles like forever and a half, even on PCs or old PCs when I used to have like disc games and all that kind of stuff, you never want to hear that sound coming out of a disc drive ever.
Is about challenging the boundaries of
It's
your
painful.
skill. It's about
it just makes you feel sick. It's really bad.
What do you guys think about
so-
these issues? Do you think that these consoles weren't ready to be launched this quick, or do you think this is just simply the fact that all hardware is going to have problems, and the day and age that we live in blows it completely out of proportion because everybody has access to the internet and social media?
How many of those consoles did you say have problems?
The PS4 is 0.4%. I have not seen a actual number for the Xbox One. I will say that it's interesting to me that you read through the various media outlets, and like IGN had a PlayStation that was dead on arrival, and they have an Xbox that's already dead.
Well, but
Okay,
that's the thing, though.
point 4 is actually quite a lot if you consider it.
How many
if you
there are, yeah.
like, if you say okay, 0.5, that's roughly 1 in 200 people will get a not functional device.
Yeah.
That's not acceptable at all.
Well, but the part of it, I'm going to say it's a little bit of both of what you had started with saying, is because the people that are going to talk are the ones that are having problems. Whereas the people who have functioning consoles, I've spoken to one, she did actually speak to me, and basically they're just so blindsided by how awesome it is. Nobody's saying anything about how good it is. So it's like you're hearing all this stuff with people are having problems because they're really, really upset and they spend all this money and they want to play their game and they can't play their game and they're just pissed. But the people who have functioning consoles are like, oh my God, this is amazing. And like you can play with so many more people on Battlefield 4 and it's almost like playing
that's a thing. But if you read statistics that say 0.4, by the way, awesome GIF still.
Oh, please don't die. I don't need you to have a copy of mine.
Are you okay, Dime?
Oh no. Dime.
Rip
Dime, should we call someone? Dime? Dime.
Oh boy. Well, but like if you're reading statistics that say 0.4% of the devices are malfunctioning, that's quite a lot. I mean, I'd say 0.1 would be acceptable.
Yeah, but still, I do want to say that they probably did rush it as well.
Okay, I'm gonna say okay, even though this is almost unacceptable because you run a relevant risk of buying a console that actually doesn't work straight off the bat. So even that, I'd say okay. It's still a sort of cool that they put it out there. I wish they put more quality insurance onto those devices, that they work better, but sort of every device has some starting issues, and you're not gonna get around those. It's
I mean, it's not the same. Releasing a whole new console is not exactly the same as releasing a new game, whereas with a game you kind of have the freedom to do a bunch of beta tests and all those other kinds of stuff. You can't massively manufacture consoles and then send them out to a bunch of people and expect that to have any, I mean, it's not going to have any of that like starting integrity. Does that make any sense? You can't just manufacture a ton of consoles and send them out to people and be like, hey, beta test this console for me. That would never work.
Except
You know?
Steam's
Actually,
doing that exact thing.
They did do that?
That's what they're doing with
Because-
the Steam machine. Also, I've just received the
good luck.
following
No,
suggestion.
good luck. No, good luck to them. I hope that it works, honestly. But they're not going to do that with the PlayStation and Xbox.
No.
I mean,
I've
they
just
sent
received
out
the
a few
following
to
suggestion
people.
on what to do about broken PS4s and Xbox Ones.
What? I'm sorry, can you say that again?
I've just received the following suggestion about what to do with the broken brand new consoles.
Wow.
The contributors shall remain nameless, although you can probably guess.
Oh,
I lost a giraffe. Oh. Anyways,
Well,
actually, that does. I'm not really planning on doing much with the new consoles right now, so I was just kind of meh on the whole thing. I think it's
yeah, because the thing they're going to release this first wave because there are people that want it yesterday, so they're releasing the wave, right? And then everybody wants to release it first, so they keep changing the date, right?
yeah.
Yep.
And the thing is, the PS4 came out earlier and it's cheaper and it has less problems. So there's that, kind of conflicting with the Xbox. But what's going to happen is they're going to see all these things. They're going to slightly tweak something in the console and they'll release the second wave. And that is where you want to get one because they're all going to be better.
Yeah, that's essentially the stable release if we're talking about beta and stable. This one is
It's
essentially
almost like a beta release, yeah.
This is sort of the release candidate who sort of works, but it's not promised to work correctly.
I know
because nobody actually has broadband
$300,
testing.
$400 for these consoles. You can't say that that's a beta release. That's why it's unacceptable.
No, you can't say that, but it's sort of implied, almost. If you're thinking about that. Oh well.
Well, I mean, I think early adopters expect a certain amount of risk as far as, console or hardware problems go.
I would say the opposite.
But
they want it.
No, actually, that is quite a thing. I mean, you sort of expect them to have failures because that's what you actually want from that. Because failures mean you can fix those failures.
And you also have to take into account, and I don't want to get into a huge debate on this, but I'll use myself as a brief example: fanboyishness. I fully expect a Microsoft console to have a problem because the 360 had so many problems. I don't expect my Nintendo console to have a problem because I'm a huge Nintendo fanboy and I've never had a Nintendo console fail on me except for an NES, which failed 20 years after I got it.
You just blow
Which is
on it.
exceptionally.
You just blow on it.
The NES was dead. The cartridges were fine.
Because usually you just blow on it.
No, it was.
I can
don't
even
blow
blow
on the
on my
console
3DS and it fixes it.
What the hell do you have in your lungs that can fix
Magic.
a console?
Magic. Nintendo Magic.
It's why I keep getting coughs. My body can't handle the Nintendo Magic.
You're allergic to
Oh my
Nintendo
God.
Magic. That's amazing.
Okay,
It's true.
I think we had enough of this topic.
Shall we move on to Valve taking over the world? I'll just run through these real fast, and we can choose the ones we watch. Steam has surpassed over 65 million active subscribers. That's a lot of people.
Not surprising. Seriously, not surprising at all. It's fucking Steam.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's basically
it's
the way to get your PC games these days.
Yeah. And not to mention that things go on sale for 75, 80% off.
Yeah. I mean, I
Why
bought
would you spend $60 for a game anymore ever? For
I
your
bought
computer?
Sleeping Dogs and all of its DLC for $25. So
Yeah, and I got Elder Scrolls. What was it? I got the Elder Scrolls Game of the Year edition, Skyrim Game of the Year edition for I think it was $30.
yeah, it included a bunch of DLC, didn't it?
Yeah, Game of the Year edition in console speak means it has all the DLC with it.
So that's $100 worth of game.
Yeah,
Easy.
for
Yeah, I love Steam, but sometimes it's worth cross-checking, as noted by this game.
Yeah.
Actual classic disc.
product
It looks so
placement,
pretty.
product placement.
Well, he has a point because I've actually found I've cross-checked with Amazon digital downloads several times against Steam and found them to be cheaper, and they provide you with a Steam key.
Yeah, this one is actually like Alma free. This thing here, it's a physical disc, right? You remember those days when internet connection were really slow and you actually bought physical copies because who would download an entire game?
Mike, I remember buying a Star Trek game that had to be installed off of 27 3.5-inch floppy disks.
Oh my god!
That's terrifying.
Holy shit!
That's
Well,
like
in
things of
any
nightmares.
case, like this game, right? Alma Free is a Steam game. And I mean Steam game as in fully integrated with Steam, and you need Steam for it to play. So buying this disc actually cost me €5 less on Amazon, provided me with a physical copy which I can rely on. Even though
And
this
show
is
the
only
cameras.
this is only essentially it's a backup disc of a Steam copy.
Basically.
Like it's literally a Steam backup install,
Yep.
which is kind of cool. And it provided me with the install, which removed about 4 gigs of download that I had to do.
Moral of the
So
story,
cross-checking still is worth if you want to save and have like fancy things around.
Yeah,
like
and,
a
like-
glossy disc.
But Steam though in general, I feel like Steam is such an awesome thing. I've got beef with Steam about some things, but like it's ideal of
It's
being
ideal,
able
and-
to like give indie games a voice and greenlighting things, and you play this
Yes.
game and it's really cool, and then you end up getting it for like $5. You play the crap out of it, like Papers, Please, and like you just. It's just such a good game that you would have never seen. Like I've
It's-
never seen a commercial for Papers, Please.
And I
I've
wouldn't
never
have
seen a
paid-
commercial.
I
That's
would
the
have
thing,
paid
it's
more
like-
for it than I did, even as good as it is.
Yeah.
It's like the web's new platform for games, and it has been for quite a while. And I remember when it wasn't the platform for the games, it was just sort of for Valve's internal things and a few other selective games.
Yep.
Like when I had Counter-Strike Source the first time, it was sort of the thing. Steam is sort of weird and you have to have it. Nowadays, if I don't have Steam, it's like, the fuck?
Yeah,
Why do you not have Steam?
exactly. So GG Steam,
Origin.
you've got a lot of users. This is the next one that I'm going kind of reverse order. I think you guys know which one I'm getting to. Steam or Valve is going to be unlike consoles where you have Mad Catz and all them that make controllers and stuff. Nope, only Valve for the Steam machine. That's it, only Valve. I think that's a good idea. It'll keep the quality under control because God knows I picked up some horrible third-party controllers for other systems. Mad Catz GameCube controller.
I have mixed feelings about this. I think it's I'd say the Steam controller itself is gonna be I think they're actually gonna support other controllers. That's what I'm gonna guess.
I think that would be cool because if there's a game, because it happens sometimes. Like there's a game that was for console, and then they kind of move it to PC, and they kind of use Steam as a stepping stone.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
And sometimes it's just better if you already have the controller like how already mapped out how it is.
Yeah.
But the controller,
I
the
honestly-
Steam controller seems to have a lot different and interesting like key binds that you can do yourself. So like, I don't know. I thought that was a really interesting thing, but it might be, I don't write code, but it might be really hard to, if you had a game for like Xbox or PlayStation, to switch over to something that has so much functionality in it.
It depends
don't
on
think
what
it
the
would-
sensitivity of those trackpads really is and how exactly the controller communicates that to the game, I would think.
If you can change-
I think it's just gonna. I mean, the Steam OS is essentially a Linux-based system, so it's gonna go through the standard drivers probably.
Probably.
So, I don't expect many complications with like people even afterwards injecting their own controllers if they want to.
I think the big problem with the Steam controller, like, layouts and stuff is just going to be from us as users getting used to having a lot more options than we're used to in a completely different way of interfacing.
Yeah, I mean, you only have so many fingers, right? So, like, you got to relearn. But to be fair, there's fingers that are unused if you
10
have
fingers.
normal.
10.
Yeah. Well, no, 8 and 2 thumbs.
11.
Wait, what?
Excuse me?
Something we need to know about over there? Anyways.
No, nothing.
Anyways, it'll be interesting to see how that works out. Steam community reviews. It's kind of, we were discussing it before the show. It's kind of been there before. It's now being shoved in your face a little bit more. It's changed a little bit. They're going to kind of use it to do like a game like meta score across Steam.
Wasn't that sort of the thing that you could do and sort of your friends could see?
Yeah, but now
and
everybody can see it.
It's public?
Now everybody can see it, and it'll create a reviews page for you, and people can follow you. And it's just you're just being punched in the face with a little more than you used to.
So, well, I say it's cool that they provide that. So it's directly attached to the game, so you can go on the page and see, like, well, those guys have reviewed it, and they gave it bad scoring or whatever.
Yeah.
To be fair, if you're the first... if you're the first one of your friends that's going to buy this game, and none of your friends have it, and it's awful, and there have been a few games, which is part of why I have some beef with Steam anyway, that were awful, that I spent money on.
Something tells me Ranger's beef with Steam is the fact that once she buys a shitty game, she can never get her money back, even if she discovers she hates it within the first 30 seconds.
No. Games that, like, literally, I've read reviews from several different people. It is not just me that thinks it's a crap game. There's a lot of people that are like, oh my god, I cannot believe this crap got published on Steam, period. And I had no way of knowing that. I mean, you can go and search it. It's basically you take, like, searching Google for the game and finding out it's awful, and they're putting it right there in front of your face, so it's easier to see.
Exactly. That's
which is good, because I'm an impulse buyer, and that's not fair.
I think it's not a big news. It's sort of a marginal improvement.
How dare you?
I think that they changed the review system this way. It's probably more of a marginal improvement on the thing, but it's gonna affect it, like, in a good way. It's like slightly lifting the interface to just
really
you getting the right games, and this is the sort of thing that makes Steam actually the thing it is. Them slightly reinventing the whole thing all the time. And why the fuck is there a dance party going on there?
I don't know. Why did you put that there?
I don't have anything to go behind these stories, and it's just us on a background, so...
You can put a picture of the Steam logo, except we'll probably get sued.
There. I don't... where's that capture region at? Screw it.
What are you doing?
I was trying to slide the Steam box or the Steam client into the logo, but it's not working. The screen region. Anyways.
No. It's
last
not, no.
one, and this one caused some dissent before, and I purposely cut off the conversation so we wouldn't waste our reactions or talking points. Valve has announced that they are not going to make exclusive games for Steam OS. And that would be like Microsoft being the only person that can have, or company that can have Halo. That's what I'm talking about when we say exclusives.
That's good.
So,
but it only makes sense. I mean, Steam or Valve rather is expanding their like customers with the Steam OS, right?
Mm-hmm.
And to make it exclusive is essentially cutting off their main customer service all around. And SteamOS is directly associated with the Steam client. So if you have a game in your Steam client, in your Steam library, it's going to be on your SteamOS, right?
Yeah.
So, and Steam itself is cross-platform already. It's Mac, it's Windows, it's Linux, right?
Right. Well,
and the SteamOS is also based on a Linux system, so it doesn't really make sense to make things only for the SteamOS.
Well, here's the thing I find interesting is they flat out have said that the reason they're doing that is because even right now they're saying that when they talk to third-party partners, they routinely encourage them to put their games in as many places as possible, including not on Steam, because they want their partners to get to the most customers they can. Which
exactly
shows you exactly how different Valve's approach to this is, because You would never hear Microsoft or Sony or Nintendo say something like that. Those
no.
The three major console
no.
manufacturers are all about locking down as many exclusives as they can, as tightly as they can. For God's sake, we've got the whole thing going right now. I just saw a commercial the other day. 60 minutes more gameplay in Assassin's Creed 4, only on PS4, and then right after it, exclusive DLC first, only on Xbox One. Ugh. It's nice to see that Valve doesn't do that.
Well, what Valve is trying to be is an extremely open platform. It's like, well, I support essentially all routes and whatever you sort of want to do. So they're extremely attractive for customer, for game developers to publish their stuff on, because they support so many things and they're not restricting you too much. So them telling people to say, hey, do it on as many platforms as possible is essentially driving themselves. They're making themselves look more representative for other game developers to put their stuff on.
Well, and they're also taking advantage, and this is just the business major cynicism in me, but it's also taking advantage of saying to developers, hey, you know how you've heard all those horror stories about how Microsoft makes you pay money to recertify your game so you can patch it? Hey, you know how Sony is going to control everything that you do on the PSN? Although Sony has loosened up a lot on that, to their credit. Microsoft has not. Steam is literally putting themselves in the perfect position to play off of that. Those three, they're hard to work with.
Exactly.
Us, we're not. Come on over.
Exactly. That's my point exactly.
Yeah.
That's
and ultimately it's going to make them more money.
Oh yes.
Them being open platform. I mean, they want people to put their stuff on because they're making money off of it.
Yeah, it's just a different way that the two companies are working. Like Microsoft and Sony, they want to do exclusives, and that's how they think they're going to make their money. I will cry the day that I have to play half a game on the PS4 and half a game on the Xbox One. Okay, I will literally. There will be tears. Okay,
there will be tears as you take the disc out of your PlayStation 5 and put it into your Xbox 2.6.
I know, right? God. It'll be worse.
Oh my goodness.
You know, actually, by that point, the systems will probably have gotten to the point where the PS5 can take the disc out of itself and put it in the new Xbox.
It's like, this is your Xbox arm.
Wait. We're talking still discs?
No, it goes into your brain.
Well, that's the other thing, actually, that is actually, I think, going to set the Steambox apart a lot is... Microsoft, Sony, and Nintendo, I mean, they do a lot of digital content delivery, but they're still very much clinging to the disc method. All you have to do really is look at the storage sizes that are in all three of the new consoles. I know the Wii U was just a joke anyways, but even the PS4 and the Xbox One, they don't have huge internal hard drives on them. I mean, all three of us... Well,
that's the thing, is people don't want to have to pay for a ton of memory. And also, there's... part of it, I think, what it might be, and it's a little strange, I understand, but people know how much a disc game is. $60 across the board. People know that you have to pay $60 to have a game. Whereas if you have a digital copy of something, it doesn't really have that like feeling of a required amount of money. You know what I mean? So like you could say, oh hey, it's still a $60 game, but you know, it's just kind of different. It's like if you're going to like the store to buy a game, like Best Buy or whatever, wherever you go, and you get a game, you know it's going to be $60. Like, you know, because that's the physical. What you're getting is the physical thing. You're paying $60 for that thing, right?
And that points out a difference in how Steam gamers and primarily console gamers are wired. A Steam gamer, we're going to look at a game and go, "Is this really worth a $60 digital download, or should I just wait until Steam puts it on sale for $25?" Console gamer's going to go, oh, it's a disc. It's $60.
Yeah, I know, exactly. And the thing is like, I've literally sat and waited for a game that I saw on Steam that was $10 where I was like, you know what? I would pay $5 for that. And I've waited for it to go on sale for $5. And that's when I got it.
Here's something else. Do you guys think that there's one reason that the major three might be hanging on to discs, whereas Valve feels no need to, might be that there's a little bit of pressure coming from the back end from people like GameStop and Game and other stores like that, that if the major... Imagine what would happen to the brick-and-mortar game-exclusive stores if the major three consoles went digital only.
Yeah, they would tank.
I actually
They
have no idea what would happen.
They would be destroyed overnight. They have no business model in place to deal with the digital downloads, and there's not really anything that covers the resale of digital download games as of yet.
Yeah, because nobody's going to walk into, even if they did digital, like, you know how you can get, like, the card that has the DLC on it, and you just go and put in a code and all that kind of stuff. Yeah. You cannot market an entire store worth of cards.
No. Or if you did, you'd get robbed all the time, because the thieves would be like, wait, I just have to steal a handful of cards instead of a whole bunch of plastic cases?
This is a whole lot easier.
Yeah.
Well, the thing is usually when you buy those, there's like an activation that has to be scanned.
Oh, yeah.
God, that reminds me of World of Warcraft. You remember those cases with essentially just a disc of paper?
Yes.
And then, like, the actual cereal inside? Jesus.
Yes. God.
Doesn't play WoW.
So, I think overall, it's a smart move. To get back to the original point, it's a smart move for Valve not to do their own exclusives because it just allows them to bring in more and more business and make more and more users happier and happier and happier because they're just going to be constantly expanding. And they're going to be in a great position to say, hey, look, we're not going to jerk you around with all the other things that happen when you go with somebody else.
I think that the overall topic, I'd say, sums up to Valve is moving themselves in an awesome position, and it's going to be a golden age of Steam.
Yes, it is going to be the golden age of Steam. The next one I want to do, and I want to ask you guys' opinion on this. Do we just let it play, or do we talk over it? Like, do we let it play and then talk about it?
I would say let it play.
Just let it play?
Let it play.
Yeah. And if we happen to go, what? Over it, then that's probably okay.
I am okay with that. So, I'm going to take us away real quick.
Oh, we're gone. Bye.
And y'all enjoy the video. I hope it plays okay because streaming sometimes doesn't do well. And we will be quiet for a moment.
launch detected.
I just want to say before we get started that I had the stream open on my left monitor and then the window and XSplit open on my right monitor, so I had 3 copies of that trailer going at the same time, and it was glorious!
Alright, you guys can now have your like nerd out moment. By all means, just go ahead, let it happen.
It's okay, this is essentially the Blizzard All-Stars thing. Sort of Blizzard's MOBA with all the games smashed into one, and it's just awesome.
It's called
Like,
Heroes of the Storm.
What the hell is going on?
Oh, lol. You have. There you go. Well, the thing is, I'm interested to see how they actually end up executing it. Like, what kind of game is it going to be? Is it going to be like a Dota?
It's sort of like Dota, yes.
I'm pulling some.
Wait, can I beat
footage up
Diablo
right now.
in like a Dota? 'Cause that would be so much fun.
It's a
Yes.
little different,
It's,
actually.
you play the characters themselves. I think you can play like Reyna and Kerrigan and
There's
Diablo
a lot of them.
and all that shit.
It's a little more fast-paced, from what I've heard, than traditional Dota or LoL. They're kind of pushing that a little bit more. They actually just saw it go through the chat, and I was going to say, I wouldn't actually, the way it's shaping up, classify it as a true MOBA, and Blizzard apparently doesn't want it to be called a MOBA anymore. So,
Well, either way, what it is it looks fucking amazing, and I'm looking
That's
forward.
cool. I would have played
Yes, yeah.
Diablo.
there's
I still am waiting for my Hearthstone beta key.
Me too. And my WildStar beta key. There's one mode I've seen that interests me a lot, which is there's a I can't remember what its name is, but it's basically a NPC, a giant. And one of the ways you can activate it is by feeding it souls that you get by turning in, points or something to another NPC. And naturally, the gameplay devolves into one team hanging out at the return point trying to slaughter the other team. But that NPC mob, that giant, can do massive damage to the enemy team. Then you've got your ultimates and a lot of character customization and things like that. They do have things, like little cutesy things, like you use a Hearthstone for your quick recall back to your base and everything. But just as you can even see from the gameplay trailer in the background, there's a lot more up close, in your face, sustained combat than I'm used to seeing in Dota or League. You haven't. I know it's just a trailer, but you haven't seen anybody kiting or retreating yet at all. It's a lot more sustained.
Yeah, that might actually just be the trailer. Although apparently there's a show match I just saw of the BlizzCon, which I haven't watched yet.
Huh.
I'm gonna watch that after the show.
Apparently they want it to be called a hero fight simulator. It seems a little complicated.
Well, probably just because they don't want to call it a MOBA, they came up with something else to call it.
Yeah. So Mike and I are obviously quite excited. Ranger, your thoughts?
I'm mildly excited. I'll have to see. I'll have to see more. I'll say. I mean, it looks really fun. Don't get me wrong. I would love to play as Diablo, killing stuff. But and like, why would you kite or back up if you're Diablo, please? But like, it's just, I don't know. I'll just have to see. I will have to see more about it. See, because I've never really. I have Dota. I've never played it. And like literally never not once played it.
Really?
Wow.
And,
we're gonna have to play it once. I mean, I'm not.
Well, I don't need another thing to be addicted to, so just so you're aware.
Yeah.
So fair to say that I think all three of us are looking forward to that game in some way, shape, or form. And for our last topic for tonight, how about we skip ahead to one that I know I can get some geek out moments out of Ranger over.
Oh God, what?
Oh, come on.
Oh God, what?
Oh God, what? Did you forget that this is in here?
No. What?
You forgot that this was on the list, didn't you?
What? Intro it, god dang it.
The Elder Scrolls
Oh,
Online.
what is it? Oh, buddy. Okay. Is this like an intro? Oh, okay.
Yeah, this is the cinematic trailer.
Yeah, my miniature problem is that I've been a part of several of the betas, and I don't want to lose my spot in the beta, so I can only say so much, right? But I will say, it looks amazing. It's still very much a beta, but that's okay. That's why you work with it, and they're taking the necessary steps to make it literally the most amazing thing I've seen in years, and that's including Skyrim.
Wow.
So, I mean, they're taking the time to do it right, which is important because these games come from Bethesda, and I think that we could say that I've never been disappointed by a single Bethesda game, period.
The only thing
So-
I've ever been disappointed with them Bethesda is their continuing lack of ability to make characters climb ladders.
Yeah, well, ladders are hard. Okay, you have to give them some slack.
I will.
But
I will say-
the game it's absolutely amazing. It's stunning. You know, it makes you want to play it more. And to be honest, I really cannot wait until they actually decide to release it.
One thing that intrigued me, Ranger, back when I was first reading about the game, was something they were promising with the combat was to make it a lot more skills in combat with other players, like fighting groups more intertwined. Like they gave an example in one thing I saw where one character that, one certain type of character would basically throw down a flask filled with oil that would create an oil slick on the ground. And then another character another character would throw a wind tornado at it and pick up a tornado of the oil, and as it flew towards an enemy, a mage could cast fire into it, and through the combination of three characters performing three different actions in concert, you suddenly end up with a freaking fire tornado.
That sounds really awesome.
Short of me saying anything else, yes. So much
Digmbot
yes.
wants.
I mean, it's like you. But I can't. Okay.
We're gonna break,
so
Ranger, is what
yes.
we're gonna do.
Just yes.
Just yes.
You broke me. I broke.
Okay.
Just yes. Just
Okay.
yes. Anything that you can think of and dream of and put together that
Guys,
makes any kind of sense.
I will
Yes.
take it. I will tell all the audience now that I will take it upon myself to continually pester Ranger for information that she's not under embargo for, that we may safely impart to you, because I want this game. Also,
it's so good.
From the
It
trailer,
looks
these
really
guys have
good.
some really cool siege technology. I mean, come on. They're like ladders? Screw ladders. We got freaking bridges.
Yeah, we got bridges and we can shoot to your ship. Bring it on. But
And- Is this kind of like a medieval Ezio?
Yeah, kind of. I don't know if that's possible in game. Maybe it is. Maybe I just picked the wrong class. But I will say that the business model is pay by the month. And what I've seen so far of what they've released is that it would be pay by the month, and it's like $15 a month. And I would honestly say that from what I've seen and what I know so far, it would be worth that. And that's big, because that's $15. I mean, that's a lot of money to pay a month.
I was going to say, one of my
that is a lot of money,
continuing objections to playing any form of MMO that requires you to pay is, I'm one of those people that I do not see, and this is one reason I never played World of Warcraft or something, I could not see or justify in my own head paying the company to buy the game and then paying them to actually play it.
Yeah, and that's one of the things that I'm hoping that they actually end up changing before release, or maybe reducing the price of either the actual game or the per month. But I will tell you right now that the game is worth $15 a month. Like, flat out.
Okay, now I'm really excited. I'm. Oh god, I need to pick up another MMO apparently.
No, you need
the way it
sign
sounds
up
like.
for beta, and then you got to tell me when you get it, because a lot of people are getting it now. They're
signed up
releasing it
for
to
the
more
beta.
people at a time.
I'm also signed up for the WildStar beta.
Well, if you ever get the beta invite, let me know and we'll play together, because I've gotten a bunch of them so far, and I think I'm going to continue to get. I hope I continue to get them.
I will. Oh, also, one last thing before we head out for the night.
Yep.
To you two in particular, but anybody else that is watching that is a Nether player, playnether.com, the game that we all actually check out my channel, Ranger and I. Mike and I did a First Impressions. Ranger and I have a 4-part co-op series on there as well. All 4 parts are currently up.
Oh, are they?
Yes,
Good.
they are up. And it's a very fun game. We've been having a lot of fun with it. It's got its fair share of issues, which all 3 of us have discussed at length, but that is the reason I'm saying this, is because there is a major content update coming that promises to bring a lot of stuff to the table, including a lot of performance and balancing issues. And there's also a major community vote on something going on tomorrow on the website.
Oh.
So, if you are a Nether player, do check playnether.com. Also, if you're an early access Nether player, you should have access to your 72-hour guest invites now.
I'm also intrigued by the suggested videos that are shown here.
Yeah, there's some interesting ones, aren't there?
Very interesting.
Yeah, can we pull the art off the screen, maybe? little bit.
It's just a Skyrim video. Jeez.
I'm just saying.
Oh
God! Don't get into clicking too many things on YouTube. You'll find yourself in a place that you do not want to go.
You've clearly never looked at my watch history on YouTube.
No, I don't creep on people's watch histories. No, I haven't.
I don't creep on people's watch histories.
Yeah.
All right, well.
I don't want to. Most of the time, I don't want to know unless you want to actually tell me something to watch. No.
I'm going to go ahead and take a look at this now for you guys and for the viewers as well. The next show, everybody, should be on Tuesday, December 10th. And then it will be, more than likely, yes, it will be 2014 before we do another show after December 10th, because the next show technically would be Christmas Eve, and I'm not doing a show on Christmas Eve. We all need to be with our families.
That.
And then it's New Year's. So the next show will technically be on Tuesday, after the next show will be Tuesday, December 10th, and then after that it will be Tuesday, January 7th.
In the new year. Maybe I'll have an Xbox One and PS4.
2014.
Yep.
It's been a short year, in my opinion.
It has. In fact,
I mean, it's a month to go, but still, holy shit.
In fact, I would invite the people watching right now, send for the December 7th show, December 10th show rather, send me a private message on Twitch, or you can get me on YouTube. Send me something you'd like us to talk about. I think we should do a year in review kind of thing. You know, just take a look back at 2013. So send me any suggestions you have, and we'll kick them around. And with that, Mike, you appear to be growing in size on the screen.
Oh, do I?
You're just leaning forward.
No, I made it bigger.
Oh, did you
made
make
me
it
bigger again.
Oh.
I know he did. I mean, why else would I say that? Duh.
I can see it now. Oh God, it's terrifying.
Well, everybody, this has been the Digmcast with Digmbot, MikeMatrix, and ywlranger. Please tune in next time for more awesome topic discussion about games.
Oh my God.
We'll see you. Bye.